Hello everybody, welcome to Recovery Lab TV. My name is Chris, I'm your coach and sports therapist, and today I'm going to be talking to you about my open water swimming kit list. Okay, for those who have been part of the channel already and have been part of the channel for quite a while, you'll notice that 2 years ago I did a similar video, and I thought it was about time that I kind of showed you my updated version and kind of showed you the type of kit that I'm using, the things that I've learned over these past 2 years, and the brands that I've kind of either kept with or have found new ones that I personally think have helped me in a little bit better in some respects. Okay, now naturally all of this is my own personal opinion, so please know that I haven't been paid by any company to create this video. I'm not sponsored by any company and any of these brands within this video. This is a complete honest opinion. Now, I am a level 3 British triathlon coach. I've worked with Welsh Triathlon. I have done courses up with British Triathlon up in Loughborough, and I am also a open water swimming coach, and I've worked with Swim Wales up in the beautiful Snowdonia lakes up there. Now, these are all based on my experiences. I typically coach quite often, almost daily, and the things that I do in my practices, I'm going to show you several kits, if you will, several wetsuits, and it kind of may or may not vary to you, but it's going to show you a broad approach in regards to the types of swimming you're going to be, type of water activities you're going to do and be a part of, and maybe some of these will help you along the way, so I hope they do. If you can, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and use that comment section. Okay, that allows me to kind of answer any of your questions, allows me to engage with you back and forth, and by all means put tips in the comment section for others. Okay, by all means, I do not know everything. This is the type of stuff that I do, and yeah, I'm just hoping it helps you guys. Okay, so first things first, to get it out the bag, I've got lots of little stuff. I tend to use Nike jammers, Nike swim jammers. Generally, the more colour, the better. There's no real reason why I use the Nike ones, other than I kind of like the pattern, and it's a little bit wacky, a little bit of fun, if you will. And for my partner, she can see me a mile off because I'm the idiot in the pink shorts. So yeah, now in regards to traveling to the beach or traveling to wherever you tend to go, I use the Overboard kind of key storage waterproof bag. Now what you'll notice is inside it I have a little toilet roll that I've had for absolutely years, and the reason why I put it in there is because it helps out dry the bag out if it kind of gets damp or a little bit moist. What you'll find is it'll discolor over time and potentially start growing mold on the insides if it is getting a little bit damp because of the condensation, especially if you're swimming kind of all year round like I do. For example, the water was 4 degrees this weekend on Sunday, and obviously your core temperature where this is dangling in your chest in your wetsuit is going to be a little bit warmer, you'd hope. So there tends to get a little bit of condensation in the bag, keeps your keys working and keeps your keys absolutely fine and safe. However, it does get a bit of moisture in, so what I found is just by sliding a little toilet roll inside, it kind of airs out the bag and dries it effectively. So from there, what I tend to use is this little dry robe changing mat. It's kind of nice and foldable, rolls out into this fluffy little square pad that is absolutely amazing, especially in the winter, colder part of the month, colder part of the year. Put my teeth back in, purely because what I find generally is the concrete is far colder than the water is ever. So when you're standing on it, it feels like you're standing on ice. If you're walking without shoes and boots, and it, like we have to park on the main road, walk to the beach, walk down the sand. If you're basically on a kind of a low tide, you got a bit of a walk to the water. By the time you do that, your feet are freezing, so boots are fully recommended for the winter periods if you have a bit of a walk, or at least take that into consideration. But when drying, this is a perfect kind of tool, if you will, to kind of dry yourself, chuck yourself on. You don't have to worry when you're taking your wetsuit off about any sharps on the ground, because this fully protects your wetsuit and stops kind of, although it's made out of material, it's pretty heavy duty kind of canvas, dry robe wetsuit, not wetsuit, dry robe material. So kind of helps you out in that respect, and then it's literally easily folded up and kind of rolled away, ready for another day. Dries pretty quickly, in all fairness. I tend to use this quite a lot, so it's been a bit battered and probably needs a wash, but yeah, it's pretty decent in all fairness, and that can be used all round and so on. Now, one thing I do is I have a 2 litre bottle of water, and as you can tell, this bottle is being absolutely battered, and I've had it for years. One, to do my bit and save the environment in regards to not needing nice shiny bottles all the time, and two, it fits the purpose. So with this, what I tend to do is just fill it with water, and it's more for my hands and feet when I'm getting the sand off my wetsuit, because I don't want my wetsuit to be damaged at the end of the swims, and it allows me just to wash that off as I've kind of walked back up the beach and I've got my feet all sandy and so on and so forth. So I kind of tend to do that, stand on my mat, take my boots off and then wetsuit off. Now, one thing I also do in the winter months is I fill this with warm tap water. I do not fill it with piping hot tap water or kettle water by any means, because it will build up pressure and it will either explode or melt. Another reason for health and safety is if you are swimming in cold water, for those who don't know, and you heat yourself up way too quickly, you will warm your blood up too quickly, it will move around your body and it will cause you to faint. So just be aware of that. Now, warm tap water, I tend to swim in the winter months anything from 45 minutes to an hour. For example, last weekend, you're typically looking at about 45 minutes maximum if you're swimming on a regular basis, purely because what I found in that last 15 minutes, if you're going to push it to an hour, that's where you can take your kind of, I'm just feeling cold, to you're very, very cold, and it's going to take you hours to warm up. By adding in hot tap water, and reminding you, not piping hot tap water, okay, hot tap water that you're able to touch, drink, so on and so forth. And what I tend to do is I use my dry robe towel. Okay, now this is a fully kind of full body towel, if you will. You put it over your body and you just kind of slide your arms through and your head through. And I will wrap this towel up like so. And what this does over the time that I drive to the beach and the time that I kind of swim, this will not only warm up my towel ready for me to chuck on my body, but also keep the bottle of water fairly dry and fairly warm, should I say, ready for me to use. Now, when I swim, especially at the moment, I'm using boots and gloves. And if my hands are freezing, especially when I'm coaching and I'm kind of standing in the water for a long, long time, what I'll do is I'll keep the glove on and I'll pour it into the glove. So it kind of warms my hands up, allows me to get the function of my fingers and my thumbs. And the same with my suit, I'll literally pull it back, pour it in, and it allows the water to kind of go through the wetsuit, warm myself up, and it's the quickest way and the safest way I've found to warm myself out post-swim. Okay, so it's a brilliant idea. It's something really useful that I've found over the years. However, you've got to be safe in regards to knowing how warm the water is, in regards to kind of, you do not want to scald yourself, and you do not want to put hot water to the point where it is boiling hot and you're adding it to your body, and then all of a sudden you're starting to feel lightheaded, okay? Naturally you'll find it with a little bit of testing, but generally I'll fill it up with warm tap water and I'll be able to put my finger in without burning myself, okay? So take that into consideration. These towels, you noticed in the previous video I didn't have one. They're an absolute dream. You can literally, especially if you don't have that much privacy, which most of us don't when we're swimming in kind of wild conditions or wild kind of environment, should I say, or even just getting changed out by the road like I do. You want a bit of privacy, you want to be covered up. So sticking one of these on as you're taking your wetsuit off is brilliant, especially in the winter when it's a little bit windier. It's a little bit kind of frost in the wind chill, and that's where you're gonna get into that kind of hypothermic state as well. So it's really good that when I'm coming out of the water, my first go-to is get all my stuff ready, put my mat down, get my water ready. I've kind of warmed up my hands, warmed up my body first, and then before I look to put this on and take anything off, I'll make sure I have my kind of beanie, if you will, ready to take off my swim cap. I tend to use rising swim caps because they're a little thicker, and in all fairness, apart from my first Ironman Wales swim cap, which I sadly lost, it's been the best swim cap I've had since. You know, it's nice and thick, but not thick enough to hurt your head. Those who wear swim caps will know. You don't want that kind of constricted brain squeeze in swim cap. So I've kind of stuck with that, and I've had it for years now, and it's been amazing. I wear it, I only wear that one swim cap. So in the winter, I don't wear a neoprene cap. I don't wear a balaclava. Like I tested out and tried out a couple of years ago. Felt it too restrictive in the neck, felt like I was kind of choking, if you will. So that rising swim cap has enough thickness to keep my head reasonably warm, and allows me to kind of swim normally without feeling like I'm wearing anything. But what I tend to do is I take that off, I put this straight on after kind of drying my hair, and then I put this on over the top after I've kind of got halfway down my wetsuit. And what that does, it allows me to kind of keep my core temperature up, allows me to stay as warm as I possibly can, and get dry at the same time, okay, especially when it's kind of windy. But this is a great towel. This is a dry robe towel. There's several different brands. Surfing brands have been doing it for ages, but I'm a bit of a dry robe nut that you're going to kind of find, and I'm a big believer in their brand, and the fact that they're B certified means that they're kind of doing the right type of stuff for the world, which is kind of something that means a lot to me as well. So that's a dry robe towel. Another thing I do in regards to eventually getting warm, I have a advanced dry robe here. I was lucky enough to get my own Recovery Lab dry robe. Those who watched the previous video will know I used to have a black and red dry robe, so it was really awesome to get this last Christmas. I'm super kind of grateful for. They've done a lot of work with the dry robes. I had one of the originals, so everything in that dry robe, it seemed a little thicker, seemed a little warmer, the materials are a little bit better, they're much more sustainable, and yeah, they're doing amazing things, okay? So check those out if you haven't already got one. They're well worth the investment. I don't know how they vary in regards to sizing up with other companies, because when I first had a dry robe there were no other companies, and I kind of got in right at the start. So by all means, let me know in the comment section if you're not using dry robe, what ones are you using, what ones have you tested, so it can help others in that comment section, okay? Goggles, I tend to use two different varieties of goggles. I use foam goggles. Now these are amazing goggles. They're really smart goggles, both physically and literally. They have a little computer on the side that shoot a laser towards the screen of your goggle, and they can tell you your pace, your distance, your heart rate. It links with my Garmin Fenix, and allows me, especially in open water, I think this is a really cool feature, to use the GPS to see how far I'm doing and the pace that I'm doing it at. Now, what I found that's really helped me and my ability to coach is, as I'm swimming with clients, I can literally move 50 meters. So if I ask you to swim a set pace for the next 50 meters, which is a length of a big pool, I can literally measure that, quantify that, tell you your pacing, get you to do it faster, slower, whatever. So I've found that they've, not only do they help my swimming in the pool, but they're also brilliant and an absolute lifesaver for open water. So check them out. They're a little bit pricey, but they're well worth the investment. And now on their app, you can have workouts on them that you can send to your goggles. They give you 5 free workouts, and then they charge a subscription for unlimited workouts that you can just chop and change onto your goggles. But yeah, I found them really good, especially in open water, knowing the distances that you're swimming as you're swimming, because all you have to do is then breathe the side that your watch is on. So as you travel through and come over, it kind of talks to the watch with the little side bit and tells you all the information you need to know. The screen itself is pretty customizable. So yeah, they're pretty cool. They're called Form goggles, so check them out. Now, what I've found is for races, I've kind of converted to what I know and what I used in the previous video that I made is still the same. It's the Speedo, what was it? Faskin Elite Mirror goggles. They're the Speed Socket 2s. I've worn these for literally the last 10 years. They're brilliant goggles, but what I like about them is they literally kind of stick to your face. They're the smoothest goggle in regards to kind of hydrodynamics. They kind of like literally cap into the size of my head. Now, for me, they work brilliantly because I have a kind of a tall, narrow head. And naturally, I think with goggles, it comes to you kind of similar to running trainers. It's about finding ones that work for you. You know, I found these are brilliant. I kind of use these for races just because they're a little bit more streamlined compared to the Form goggles. I have used those when racing before in a half Ironman, and they're okay, but what I found is, especially in training in the pool and stuff, as you kind of dive off and into the pool, and especially if you're looking for an aggressive swim start, running into the sea or big heavy waves, you're talking that it could potentially get knocked a little, and I don't want to take the risk. Not that it has ever done that, it's just I don't want to take the risk. So I tend to go with a little bit more streamlined, little something that kind of glues into my eye socket, which is these Speedo goggles. Now, chamois cream for your neck, for your armpits. I tend to use Body Glide. I've always used Body Glide. I think they're brilliant, and I tend to buy mine off Wiggle just because it's the cheapest site that I can find Body Glide on. There's a boy version, which is the blue. The girl version is pink. To be honest, there's no real difference between them. What I've been told before is the pink version for the girls actually has a few more vitamins inside the balm than the male's version. So quite often I've used the male version, but generally I go for the cheapest, you know, just because of everything else. Prices add up. The cost of living has gone through the roof, and I want to kind of carry on doing what I love doing. So it does the job. Whether it's true that it has a few more kind of extra bits in to keep your skin nice and soft, or not is irrelevant, because either way I find my skin pretty good anyway. But yeah, Body Glide is really, really good. The only thing that I would add to that for races is kind of baby oil for the forearms and the lower kind of calf shin area, to allow me to get the wetsuit off much quicker. But generally that's for triathlons. If it's just a swimming race, then naturally once the swim done, it doesn't matter how long you take off your wetsuit. One thing I tend to use as a go-to is my Venture Light, because I do a lot of early morning sessions. I fully recommend that you kind of get a green Venture Light. It's an amazing signal to let people know that you're in the water, especially boats if they're out and about, but also other swimmers. You can literally get them to flash, you can get them to stay on, but it's really good for you and your friends to kind of get in that habit that keeps you safe. They're kind of fully adventure proof, if you will, fully waterproof, and they're brilliant. It just literally attached onto your goggles, onto the back of your head, and then you kind of twist to turn on and twist to turn off. So it's super simple. One thing I have got into, now originally I had the surf ears. Since then they've released a newer version called the swim ears. Now these I actually get a discount code on, if you will. So if you go in the link in the top of the page or in my bio, you'll find, I think it's like a 15 or 10% discount on these. They're brilliant. I used to use the surf ears, which I still use when I'm surfing, but the difference is it has a hook that kind of goes into the side of your ear, whereas the swim ears just go in as a little bud. Excuse me. Now, what I found with the surf ears, that little hook, although it's great for surfing because it adds as a kind of a little bit more protection, so when a wave kind of comes down on you, it doesn't kind of come out your ears as easy. Because we're swimming and we have the swim caps, it kind of put a bit of pressure on the inner ear as it kind of like clamped down on your head. Whereas with these, you don't get that pressure because obviously there is no hook. Now, I used to get because I was swimming so much in the sea, and especially through the pandemic, I started getting a lot of ear infections and a lot of water in the ear, in this ear. And then I came across this because I was looking to kind of find an ear plug that would help me. Now this allows both the sound and to stop basically kind of any wind or water getting into your ears. It protects your ears from surfer's ear, which is basically when you add cold water and you add high winds, what it does is it causes growth bone, the bone to grow inside the ear tube, and then it slowly basically causes you to become deaf. So naturally I don't want that to happen to me, and since then I haven't had a single infection in my ear. I don't struggle with kind of water in the ears anymore, and I wear these religiously. So whether I'm surfing, whether I'm swimming in open water or swimming in the pool, I wear my surf ears, so check them out. And like I said, you'll get a discount in the bio if you want to check those out and want to purchase them. One thing I do for post swim to kind of help with me getting warm and the fact that I love drinking it is I make myself a kind of thermos of tea. Now I use Yeti kind of cups and Tupperwares. We've got one here which is the cup, and this is the thermos. I make myself a hot drink, whether it's a tea, coffee, hot chocolate, whatever, warm squash. It's a brilliant way of warming yourself up afterwards, because there's been many a time that I've been sat in a car shivering, trying to warm myself up, and hot drinks are a massive must and a huge benefit to warming your body from the inside out. Okay, so by all means try and get in the habit of that. Get some good stuff. These are brilliant. They keep it warm, cold, whatever you're drinking for either 12 or 24 hours. So by all means check those. Now, because I'm into social media and I'm trying to make something of myself, and I love taking photos, I use my GoPro. Now I'm currently filming on a GoPro now, but normally the same GoPro goes into here. Now the reason why I put it into a housing as opposed to not is because I use it so much. What I found is over time it's the salt water that kind of really jams up the GoPro. Whereas if I put it in here, it fully protects the GoPro, and nothing else kind of happens to the doors of the GoPro or the sound quality and so on and so forth. Yeah, you get perfect pictures all the time. Now one thing, a little tip that I kind of use is when you're taking your photos, if you lick the lens, get a bit of saliva on there and then allow it to kind of swirl around, wash it off with the water. What will happen is the saliva will stick and add a layer of moisture to the lens, so when you get splashes on the lens, you won't actually get kind of water droplets on your photos. So if you are into taking photos and you have a GoPro like me, and you're in the water taking photos of yourself, videoing your friends or whatever, by all means use that little tip on your GoPro and it will save you. You can also get this spray that goes on the lens as well, but to be honest, saliva is the best way. Now I use this bucket. I used to have a pink bucket until the handle broke on me. So I went to Asda and I bought a new bucket, which is much sturdier and handles, and to be honest, I imagine it will last me forever. Every time I buy something, I stick a sticker on the bucket, and I've slowly collected a million stickers. Now the reason why I have this bucket is one, because there's a lot of stuff and makes storing it all much easier because I can just dump it in. But it also makes my car a little bit easier, and the journey to the beach and from the beach a little bit easier, because I can literally just dump the wet stuff back inside here without making my car smelly and minging. It's a really good hack, if you will, and it just lets me pick it up, take it back into the house, and I wash it, clean it, rinse it out, pour it down the sink, and job done. When I am drying my wetsuits, I use this Go Dry hanger system. I clamp it onto the wall of my shower and I put my wetsuit over the top and dry it there. I also, in the week, if I'm using the pool a lot, I'll put my bathers on there, and for me, on my shower, I've kind of got a glass wall and naturally tiled walls, so it kind of sticks on there pretty good. One thing I found with the boots and the gloves, they take absolutely ages to dry, so what I did is I went one step further and I bought a sea monster. Now this hanger is absolutely amazing. I kind of use it in conjunction with that and I kind of hang it down. But one thing I have found with the weight of the wetsuit is it struggles to stick on the wall, and I've even broken one of these little handles by here as the weight I've put on. But what I've found is if I hang the wetsuit on this and I put because the wetsuit's distributed evenly across the bar, and then I hang this one on another one of these because I have several now, I can put the boots on here, the gloves on the middle sections here, and then it just hangs off one across the way, and makes life a lot easier. But they also dry a lot quicker when they're on the Sea Monster, because of the thickness of my boots and gloves. It could take 2 or 3 days to dry, whereas I found with that it takes a little bit shorter. It might knock a day off, which is amazing. Now I use Sea Skins, which is a surf brand, for the boots. These are 6mm boots, and I tend to use boots more than the socks nowadays. In the last video I was raving about socks. Now if you're swimming, then naturally it's brilliant because you're literally going, putting them on, going to the water, getting in and swimming. I do a lot of coaching, so I was going through socks like you wouldn't believe. I've had these now for 2 years and they're still golden. Yes, it's worn a little bit in the midsole, but these will last me, I imagine, for many more years to come. But they're 6mm. Now, they're amazing at 6mm because they keep my feet warm. Not once have I ever had cold feet ever since. Whereas before I was using the Hoob or the Hub kind of wetsuit socks, and those were 3mm. Now my feet would be freezing by the end of an hour. Now when I'm coaching, I'm in the water, sometimes I'm half in, half out, which opens my body up to the elements, which gets me incredibly cold sometimes, as I'm looking after my athletes, coaching them, kind of looking after their health and safety, and so on and so forth. Sometimes I'm not moving around as much. So what I found is these are a brilliant way to kind of keep my feet warm, so it's one thing to worry about less. And with that, I kind of look to better gloves as well, because I used to have the Hoop ones again, and now I have these 5mm gloves. Now they're the thickest type of glove that you can have. You can have a 6mm, I believe, but it comes as a mitt, where it's kind of like, I think it's kind of these 3 fingers here are kind of one glove, and then it's a thumb and an index finger. These are the Rewired version, which I fully recommend you getting. They're absolutely amazing, and I don't really get cold hands anymore, because for those experienced swimmers, once your hands start getting cold, the ability to use them afterwards can become quite dangerous. Your thumb tends to not work. Sometimes if you've had operations on your hands, like I have, some of those ligaments are going to be a little bit sorer. So pressing things, twisting things, trying to get the wetsuit off can become quite a problem. So these are the kind of insulated Rewired version, which means basically like it has a wire and a seal going around all the joints of the glove itself. Makes it much more durable. I can't imagine me ever needing another pair now I have these, because they're absolutely brilliant. You know, I tried the thinner version, the 3mm or 4mm, I think, and they weren't rewired, and they didn't have that red insulation on the inside. And honestly, then they're similar to the Hoop gloves. They're just not worth the money or the time. These make a difference in regards to cold hands. The other ones, to be honest, I never found a glove that actually made a difference until these, which is why I recommend them to everybody. I tell people not to bother with all these other brands or other things, because I've tried them. Spent an absolute fortune. I've got a box full of gloves and boots upstairs, and it's, yeah, save you money. So yeah, it's seaskins. Now with that, I kind of looked into a warmer coaching suit, because what was happening is swimsuits want your legs to be straight. I was walking a lot in mine, and I was getting a lot of kind of rubbing and chafing in the creases of my legs, which was causing my skin problems, and causing me kind of cuts and abrasions, because I was especially in the summer months, I was doing a lot of hours in the water, roughly around 15, 16 a week, and sometimes maybe 5-6 hours at a time in the water. So I went to, because of how well these work, I went to a Seaskins wetsuit. Now, because wetsuits cost a fortune, I only wanted to buy one, so I bought a winter suit, and I bought the Rewired 4-3 winter surf wetsuit. So it's kind of like that. It's an absolute brilliant suit. I wear it for surfing now. I wear it for coaching, and pretty much keeps me warm, keeps me alive, and yeah, allows me to do what I need to do when I'm looking after people in the water and coaching them. It's an absolutely brilliant suit. Allows, because it's a surf wetsuit, allows full mobility, allows me to kind of squat deep in it, rotate, move around. I've swam in it, I've surfed in it, and I stand around in freezing cold water in it. So it's a brilliant wetsuit. So check those out if you want to have a bit of fun with your family in the summer, if you kind of are into surfing or just fancy being in the water but you're not much of a swimmer and you want to kind of stay warm. It's a brilliant wetsuit. Now, I'm a massive Robe wetsuit fan in regards to triathlon swimming suits or open water swimming suits, whatever you want to describe them as. And I've used the Maverick wetsuit. Now in here have my race version, so the summer version, and I also have the winter version here. It's an absolute brilliant suit. The reason why I have two is generally because of it's my job, you know, so and the fact that I swim so much. I swim almost daily. I swim in the sea or a couple times a week almost. So for me it's part of my life, it's part of what I do, so I kind of invest the money in it. My race wetsuit, or my summer suit if you will, I tend to keep for races only. I tend to wear it 1 or 2 times maybe in the build up to a race, and then on race day. Other than that, it kind of stays perfectly in its bag, and the reason being is because the longer you have these suits now, triathlon suits I believe aren't designed to be worn all the time, which is why surf suits are much better. If you're swimming on a regular basis, multiple times a week, throughout the year, all year round, what you'll find is, like on this suit, you'll start getting abrasions at the top of the suit and kind of a breakdown in the neoprene. It happens to all suits, it doesn't matter what brand it is, it will happen the more and more you wear it, because naturally the neoprene will start to degrade because of the nature of the suit. Now, I look after my stuff immensely, and it still happens. There's no kind of fighting it, unfortunately, which is why I kind of went to the seaskin suit, because it's made out of a different type of neoprene and it's much more kind of resistant to that because of surfing and its nature. These are much more kind of silkier and smoother because of hydrodynamics, and it's trying to make you faster in the water. So they use a different type of neoprene and a different type of coating on the neoprene. But I have the winter one. I tend to wear this on Sundays because I'm swimming on Sundays. So if you fancy joining us, by all means come down or get in touch. And then I wear my race suit coming up to race days, either a week or 2 before, just to get a feel, and then certainly on the weekend of my triathlon. Either way, it's a brilliant suit. They both fit nicely. My race suit seems a lot tighter that way. It seems like a kind of a new fit, a new feel every time. Gives me greater support. It's much harder to get in because your body molds to it. But I find that if you're only kind of wearing it on the build up to races or on race weekend, then it kind of gives you that kind of supportive structure as well. Whereas my kind of winter suit I wear week in, week out, and it fits like a glove. You know, it's much easier to put on now than it used to be, but that's because it's kind of learnt my body and it kind of knows me now. One thing I tend to use, and I soon learned that after a while your wetsuits, especially the surf wetsuit, because it's a different type of neoprene, after a while they stink. You know, I found this wetsuit cleaner called Coco Loco. I found the best way to buy it is in bulk, because you buy the little bottles and you end up using much more than is kind of recommended. And I tend to wash them all at the same time. It keeps them clean, keeps them fresh, and then I kind of store them away. But on Amazon you can buy this stuff and you can get pretty much 2 of these bottles for the price of 1. Every time I've gone on there to buy them, that's how I've done it. And it's literally kind of just pour a little bit in, stick it in the bath, allow it to soak for a few minutes. I tend to leave it there for 20 minutes, half an hour in freezing cold water. I wash it all through. It's minging because you see all the stuff that comes out of it. And that's after, like, every time I use my suit, I wash it down with a shower. So it's not just that. I'm pretty good with my suits because I want them to last. But like I said, every so often they are going to smell. So I wash it with this stuff, and I found that it works brilliantly. But yeah, these are the type of things that I do. This is the type of equipment I'm using now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope some of the tips and tricks and some of the equipment that I'm using now has helped you. Certain things I certainly wish I knew earlier on, because like I said, I have a whole box full of gloves and boots upstairs. So I wish I kind of knew a little bit earlier and saved my money. But it's, you kind of live and learn. One thing I forgot to mention, and I forgot to grab for this video, is I am still using my Vivo Barefoot Bloom shoes. They're kind of like a jelly shoe that you used to wear as a child, but they're made out of bloom algae. They're absolutely brilliant, and they've got a million different holes on them to allow your feet to breathe, but also allow you to stand in water and lift up without it kind of getting, like, staying wet and holding the water in. I wear those down the beach all the time. I also wear sliders. What I'll tend to do is I'll get changed here in my wetsuit. I'll put my boots on, I'll go to the beach, I'll do my thing, and then I'll come home after getting changed, either with a pair of sliders on or my Vivo Blooms on. And then it just allows quick and easy access, you know. What I found, putting socks on after you've gone swimming is a bit of a nightmare, especially when you're freezing cold and your hands aren't working that well, or your skin is really damp and you're trying to put a sock on. It's a bit of a pain in the bum, so I tend to use those type of shoes just so I can put my feet in and I can move and go and get in the car or go to a coffee shop with friends, you know. So yeah, check them out as well. They're brilliant footwear, and yeah, I hope this video helps. Enjoy it, and if you have any comments, by all means, or anything that you do that I haven't suggested, by all means, please put it in the comment section, because for me this video isn't about me, it's about helping you and helping others. So those comments could help others as well. Okay. Otherwise, let me know where you swim. I swim down Whitmore, down in Barry Islands in Wales. We run a open water swim session every Sunday at 8:30. By all means, if you want to come along, come along. It's absolutely free. We don't charge. There's me and a bunch of lovely people. They range from all ages, all abilities, and we swim widths of the bay. It's about 500 meters. We kind of stay in there anything up to an hour, and by that I mean people will stay for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour, whatever. And yeah, it's a beautiful community with some amazing people there. So if you want to join in, by all means do so, and hopefully I'll see you soon. If you can, hit the like button, subscribe if you can. It does help the channel, kind of need to grow it and get it over that kind of 1,000 subscriber marker, so we can start bringing in some sort of revenue into the channel. Everything I do here is for free, and like I said, I'm not really paid by any brand or anything like that, nor would I accept any kind of money off brands that I didn't believe in. Okay, I'm wholehearted on that, and I've been offered money in the past from brands that I don't use or don't know anything about or don't believe in, and to be honest, that's not me. It's not worth what I believe, my reputation. Okay, so all this stuff I fully and wholeheartedly believe in, I use all the time, so by all means check it out. I'll put the link for everything in the bio, so if you need any of the equipment, just click those links below. They're not affiliated or anything like that, so yeah, so if you can help me, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Share it with your friends if you need to, share it to your swim clubs if you'd like to, and invite them along to the channel or the swim. All right, take care and I'll see you soon.